Welcome back to BreakAway. This is now class number 5. Establish your credibility. How to be seen and respected. It is not enough to just be seen. You must also be respected and preferably not feared. So it is now class number 5, day number 3. And everything that we've gone through in class from class 1, 2, 3, and 4 leads up to this. And why I ask you to do class 1 through 4, because that is fundamental, internally fundamental to your brand. And why is branding important is because there needs to be consistency. When there is consistency, there is trust. When there is trust, there is connection. When there is connection, there is the willingness to give you money. So you want people to give you money, you have to create that trust. At the same time, like I said, please do not create your brand, because then it's about what do people want to see. And then if it's not the same as what you are internally, you will have to pretend. And when you pretend, I'm telling you, it gets very, very difficult to maintain it over a long time. So that's why I say discover your brand. Find out who you are internally. You are a trainer who likes to tell jokes. Let's do that. You are a trainer who likes to storytell. Let's do that. You are a trainer who's very strict, very, military style. Let's do that. There's always strengths to be had. Yeah. So just because you believe that, oh, people now they like this kind or that kind, doesn't mean that you must change to be that. That being said, we need to talk about efficiency as well. So what I just said is about the branding, is not about the actual delivery. So we know that the new generation of learners, they want to be involved, they want to be active. So it's not enough to do chalk and talk or lectures, because now they expect to be able to do, not just for them to remember, not just for them to understand. That was school, that was university. They need real skills that they can use to solve their problems at work. So, of course, branding aside, your skill set within the classroom or your skill set with engaging them, getting them to understand, getting them to buy in, getting them to actually commit to doing what you teach them to do after the class, that's a different skill set, of course. That is learning facilitation, that's gamification, that's accelerated learning, that is coaching, that is neuro-linguistic programming, hypnosis, whatever, right? I am not, I am model and method agnostic, right? I don't have a preference. I believe every tool, every model out there has its function, has its purpose, has its place. So go and learn. Okay, so that being said, this is the theme of this morning, which is how do you establish your credibility? So for those who are coming in on the ground floor, those people who are just barely new into the industry, there are a few ways you can earn, right? There are a few ways, there are a few, as we say in Malay, lubuk. There's a few fishing holes that you can earn at. One of the more popular, I won't say the biggest, I would say the more popular one is running training that is HRD Corp claimable. Okay, I'll say it again. Running training that is HRD Corp claimable. So we need to get in on the ground floor, even some of the senior ones. Let's check in and see what is all this, where does it come from? So the first thing is when I was running training way back from 1997 up then, um, I had heard about this, but I wasn't sure what it was. And then one day my boss, I think it was 2006 about that, my boss says, go and check this HRD thing out, find out what it is. Back then, their website was sparse. There was nothing there. It was like, oh, so difficult to find out. I had to ask around some training providers. A lot of people were not sure because a lot of clients as well were not fully registered. They didn't know how it worked and stuff like that. And we want to understand where this comes from. What is the purpose here? So, in layman's terms, the HRD Corporation or the Human Resource Development Corporation was set up by the government to force to force employers, especially SMEs. I know what the slide says. I know what I said. To force SMEs to send their people for training. Why? Because back then, GLCs, government, MNCs, banks, oil and gas, they already had their own buy-in to learning and development. They knew what was important. They knew that it could help upskill their people, help them have better careers, and then help them, become more productive. Back then, these people, these set of companies or organizations, they believe in L&D. But SMEs, like manufacturing companies overall, they wanted to maximize the use of the time of their people. So it was always BAU, always business as usual, never time off to learn, never time off to train. Why? Because most SMEs, the work that their people do is cyclical, is routine. It doesn't change. Right? If you do this work today, if you write this report today, tomorrow you write the same report. So what training do I need to give my people? But what happened was, as changes happen in industry, in economy around the world, there is deficiencies, of course. We cannot grow if we don't learn, right? We cannot learn if we don't go for training. Yes, there is self-learners, but very far and few in between. So HRD Corp was set up to make sure that Malaysians who are working within Malaysia to a Malaysian company are constantly receiving upskilling um, interventions, whether it's a classroom training or coaching, whatever, but there has to be some sort of effort. So what did they do? They set down that every company, if I'm trying to remember what it is, I think this slide can be updated from time to time because HRD does change its rules. If you have a company with more than 10 staff, you have to contribute 1% of your employees' salaries into the fund. That means the bigger the company, the more they contribute. So that money goes into a fund. It's a levy. Okay, it's technically a levy, which means it's like a tax. The money doesn't belong to the company. I know what some people say. It doesn't belong to the company. It's a levy, legally a levy. The same way we say that, oh, these are taxpayer money, but yes, you can't get it back. So you don't have the right to get your money back. It will come back in the form of services from the government. Same with HRD, you can't get the cash back. What you get back is in the form of services. So HRD Corp exists in an ecosystem with a minimum, okay, of four agents, right? Minimum. HRD Corp itself, and then what they call employers who are registered with HRD Corp. Other employers who are not registered with HRD Corp, of course, employers with less than 10 employees. So employers are registered with HRD Corp, and then training providers, and then trainers. Now, HRD Corp has gone through a bit of an evolution. Once upon a time, it was branded as the HRDF Fund. Nothing wrong with that because even in Malay, the name of the organization is Perbadanan anyway. But we used to refer to it as HRDF. So now they've aligned the Malay name and the English name. So the English name, they insist everyone use the word HRD Corp to refer to them. But people are still referring to HRDF because why? Old school again. Once upon a time, they it was a very complicated system of claims. I clearly remember there was a time when you could do work as a trainer without a training provider, but you could only claim 50% of the fund, which is not bad if you think about it. So you could do with direct to clients under HRDF, but you could only claim 50%. So that means the client has to pay the other 50% lah. If you went through a training provider, you could claim full. Now, my memory is not as good as it used to be, but if I recall, the daily allowable claims matrix, what they call the ACM, allowable claimability matrix, was 4,000 per day. Okay, so it started at 4K per day, which was okay, right? But as inflation happens, as the economy happens, they revised it to 6,000 per day. And I've told a few people this, that from 4,000 to 6,000 is a 50% jump. That's a 50% jump. So clients, employers are like, hey, that means I have to spend more for less training. If it was 4,000 per day, I can send more people because the funds good. But if it's 6,000 per day, then if effectively I can't send enough people, I'll have to send less people. So there were a couple of years, I think it was a couple of years lah, where clients, employers ignored the new perkeliling, ignored the new circular of 6,000 and just referred to the previous circular of 4,000. So it took a few years for us to be able to get up to the point where we can charge the client 6,000 per day and they'd be happy with it. Then, last couple of years, I think it was last year or a year before that, they raised the ACM to 10,005 per day, but also allowed for more than 35 participants. Now you get 50 participants that are claimable. And there's a big hoo-ha about that. Big hoo-ha. Trainers were happy lah. Oh, okay. Training providers are like, oh my God, how am I going to convince my clients to say pay 10,005? When they went from 4 to 6 also, it was struggling. Now, this is a huge jump. From 6 to 10,500 is a huge jump per day. If you were an employer, you would be you would be unhappy, man. So right now, a lot of TPs are not yet able to convince their clients to claim the maximum ACM. Alhamdulillah, the ones I work with can, but then they also promise that they bring really, really good trainers. So I'm a bit more stressed out because they say, Nazrin, they're expecting this and this and this and this and this and this. I hear, okay, fine. Okay, let's see what we can do. So it's a little bit above and beyond what we are used to, but if we're getting paid more, then why not? Right? So if you have questions, just put a Q into the chat and I will attend to you and you can speak on the microphone. So that's the first introduction to HID Corp. Now, for those of you, if you're already here, you must at least have your train the trainer certification, yeah? So there's a few ways that we can get to work and claim from HID Corp. Number one is we must have a train the trainer certification. Technically, it's called the Certificate in Training. Everybody calls it a TTT anyway. It's a 5-day course. It costs about this is about the median, but this is the recommended about 2,788 ringgit per candidate for 5 days. And if I remember right, you would expect lunch as well. You'd expect break food and lunch, and then training and then the certificate. When you think about it, that's not much. This is quite bare minimum for a certification program. If you've ever been for certification, you know that this is quite affordable. Option two is exemption. So if you have other kinds of certification that you can use, like say a bachelor's degree in education, you have a train the trainer from another recognized organization. There's a whole list that you can access in the BreakAway website to check out the criteria. You can also do based on qualification. That means that you have run training programs before. You self-attest lah. I don't know how HID checks on this, but you self-attest that I've been running training for these many years and this is my clients and things like that. Criteria C is based on experience. So please check out in the BreakAway site if you need to know more. However, it is still not free. You have to pay. I think currently a processing fee of 300 ringgit. If that changes, then this slide changes, this recording has to change. Okay. Now, I need for you to understand that there are still trainers who are not aware that after they do their TTT, that is not the end of the story. Once upon a time, we could all claim HID Corp using our TTT, our certificate in training. But then there were 40,000 trainers in Malaysia. 40,000 trainers, and HID Corp got complaints from clients, from employers, that the trainers they were getting were terrible quality. Why? To be fair, it's because of the TTT itself. Okay, the terrible quality of the TTT caused the terrible quality of trainers. They were passing by the sheer seat of their pants. And also, a lot of those 40,000 were in-house trainers or were employees who were given the opportunity by their employers to become a trainer. What happens? They do not practice. They never were given the opportunity to practice. They thought, okay, I had a certificate, I can train when I retire, when I leave. The challenge is, the problem is, they do not have the skill set. They have the understanding. They got knowledge, but they didn't have the skill set, not enough practice. So when they entered the market, it was complaints left and right lah. So HID Corp decided we need to start filtering. So how did they start filtering? They created a second layer, which is called the accreditation. So the first layer is, how can we put it this way? First layer is matriculation. Oh, that's the wrong one. Uh, First layer is SPM, I guess. You pass. You pass SPM. Second layer is degree. Can you show me that you can actually do this? So in order to get accredited, which is the second layer, you have to prove yourself. Okay. One way to prove yourself is for trainers who were certified or exempted before the year 2020. That includes me. Okay. So how do I prove myself? I have to just submit and prove that I've run 120 hours of courses the previous year. Okay, so if this year is 2021, lah katalah, this year is 2021, I have to prove that I ran 120 hours of classes in 2020. And then I will get certified. Sorry, I will get accredited for the next 3 years, if I remember right. Okay. For those of us who have doing it this way, we have to submit 2 out of these 4. I think there's 5 as well. No, it falls in the same category. 2 out of 4 of these documents: a letter of appointment from the training provider, evidence of a payment receipt or invoice, which means that you really need to get this from your training provider. In most cases, I just submit my invoice. Malas your receipt. Completed feedback forms, which is quite difficult to get sometimes because if the training provider is the one collecting these, then you don't have access to it. And also participant list. This could be easier because the training provider will give you the participant list to collect the signatures, and you can take a scan before you pass it back to them. Or in many cases, they don't even ask you for the physical copy anymore. They just ask you to scan and send, so you get to keep the physical copy. So this is evidence that you have run 120 hours. So my recommendation, please, please, please always ask from them. Do not just, no need lah. And then you clamber, you have to rush when it's time to renew your accreditation. Okay. Also, there's a cost, must pay. There's 60 ringgit for 3 years validity. Again, if they change this, then I have to redo the slide and this recording as well. Again, if you have questions, just just mention Q in the chat and I will attend to you. The second way is accreditation by assessment. Okay. Accreditation by assessment is not documentation only. It's you sharing an example, a demonstration of you teaching. So you will have to be assessed on how you plan your session, or your TNA, or how you design the course, or how you conduct the course, or how you assess participants' competence. Now, this looks fantastically scary. It's actually quite simple, simple in practice, right? So what you need to submit is your course outline, your full course outline, your lesson plan, including the timings, including the scheduling. If you do the outline, okay, if you've done the outline from the last class, okay, then you already have that. But lesson planning is something you should already have inherited from your TTT. So a full lesson plan, a copy of your presentation slides, and then a recording of you running 4 hours of your class. Now, some people, what they do is they design for 2 days, the course outline and lesson plan, but they run only 4 hours and they record. All right. I leave this to you. But what HRD is asking for is run the 2 days, but submit only 4 hours of recording. Okay. So that's one. I leave it to you. Because technically they're only asking for 4 hours. If you think that it's only the 4 hours, then I feel there's a little bit of an ethical issue there. So best is design for 2 days, run for 2 days, record the whole thing, and then select which 4 hours you want to send. You also have to send the attendance form, the feedback forms, and any acknowledgement from the training provider. Now, this is the challenge, right? What if you run it on your own? What do you have? No training provider, right? So that's why they say attendance form or feedback form or acknowledgement letter from training provider. For this one, I'm not going to walk you through it because it can be quite complex. And what I know of this is that the assessors who will be reading your documents and watching your video, they are themselves not trainers. They are just assessors following a checklist. So if you are the kind of trainer who starts off the class with welcome everybody to blah 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 blah, and then okay, so let's run an activity, blah 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 blah, there is a possibility you might not pass. Because why? What they're expecting to see at the beginning is you welcome everybody, and then you show a slide that lists down the learning objectives. You explain the learning objectives. And if you're the kind of person who, at the end, right, you debrief everyone, okay, tell me what you learned and stuff like that, you might also not pass because the assessors are expecting to see you go back to that learning objective slide and say, here is what we covered today. They are looking for very specific things. So even if you are efficient and effective as a trainer, but you don't fulfill the KPI that they've set for you, it might be challenging. Okay. So once upon a time, the recording was 2 hours. It is now being expanded to 4 hours. So by the time you guys watch this recording, it will probably have been expanded already. So my recommendation is just design for 2 days, run a free course for anybody for 2 days. Yeah, that's your amal jareh, that's your sadaqah. And if you run it for free again, if it's not perfect, nobody can blame you. Nobody can say, I paid so much money for this course. No, just run it, okay, as a testing ground. Record everything because it's good to have videos that you can use in your branding, that you can use in your website, and then submit 4 hours worth. Okay, good.
Okay. I'm accredited from 2023 to 27,
Right.
3 years. There's a misunderstanding from many trainers. They say, let's say for 2025, I did 240 hours.
Right.
And then for 2026, that I do another less than 120, for example.
Yep.
So can I carry forward from 2025 to 2026? They kira macam mana tu? For the first, must
Oh,
be
okay.
120 every year atau the total for 3
Okay.
years is 360.
So within a calendar year from January to December, you must have 120 hours. Whether you bunch up 120 in January or back in December, doesn't matter. But within that calendar year, you must have 120 hours because they want to see that you have consistent work, your consistent practice. It doesn't mean that if you have 360 hours this year, you can count team for the next 3 years. That is still 1 year submission. So you must have across 3 years 120 hours. 120 hours per year. That's
Okay,
my
correct.
understanding.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Okay. For me, I do online course for Protege program.
Yep.
So usually I get a name list in Excel, only their names lah and the company.
Right.
So is that acceptable for the name list of the training ataupun macam mana? Because some
You are doing by
details.
activity, yes?
Yeah, 120 hours.
Accreditation by activity, correct?
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
But as
So
Zaitun
that,
pointed out, if it's accreditation by assessment, must be face to face, so
okay.
cannot be online. All right, let's go to Nolina first.
Hi, Nazrin.
Hello.
My question is, I've been accredited, and you did mention that we need to still record the 120 hours per year, right? Tapi kalau I buat macam training untuk kids dengan youth juga, that's not training related, and I don't get to fulfill the 120 hours per year, macam mana?
If you do not, let's pause the back end. We look at what you just said, and if it's less than 120 hours, then you have to make it up somehow lah. What I did is I ran free sessions just to make the hours. Pun boleh.
Oh, okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Because if you do those hours, you notice there are a few things that you have to submit. You have to submit a letter by the training provider, or the invoice, or the payment, or the participant feedback, or the participant list. So kalau you tak submit the invoice or the payment receipt, counts lah. It still counts. So even if it's a free session, should be valid.
Okay, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, for somebody yang macam saya ni accredited like early last year,
Okay.
2025. and I haven't performed any single training
Right.
sebab I'm not really actually saya tak berapa faham nak cari TP macam mana pun.
Okay.
So masa itulah because I'm not really vegetarian. So now bila saya minat balik ni, saya dah lost about 11 or 10 months already. So macam mana untuk orang yang macam ni?
Run free trainings.
Run free trainings
Yes, that's one.
Okay.
Number two is if you are financially independent, you're not chasing for the money, go to TPs and say, I want to give you a taster. So if any of your clients need a 1-day program, okay, if you take care of my accommodation, my travel, apa semua, I will give you this course for free. Now, some
Okay.
people are scared when they hear that, but my
Okay.
mentor, Muhammad Rizal Hassan, that's how he started. Zaman dulu, Facebook was not a big thing, LinkedIn was not a big thing. So what he did was he went to clients and said, okay, I can give you for free, taster. I will not preview. I give you 100% all out for one cohort.
Okay.
And that's how he got
Okay.
his momentum. Back then, TPs
Okay.
were also not very necessary.
Okay. Let's say if I really, really missed out already for 1 year or two, so
Uh-huh.
that means I have to redo the whole thing.
No, you have to go by video lah pula.
Okay, alright. So go by video
Yes.
Alright. So tak apa, nanti saya minta tolonglah siapa-siapa untuk saya bagi free training. Okay.
Buat je. Oh, but it has to, yeah. So kalau by assessment, by activity, you just run free training online lah.
Okay.
Tapi if you do by assessment, it has to be face to face.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright. Okay.
Alright.
Thank you.
Okay, another one is I find out bila kita pergi training, kita akan ada satu assessment form from to be given to our participant kan,
Right.
untuk diorang assess kita punya training style tu, and whether kita at their expectation ke and so on.
Yes.
Yang itu let's say we do it for the TP, yang tu is under hours ke ataupun untuk TP?
Okay.
Yang tu yang saya selalu confuse.
Usually is the TP yang bagi, not the trainer. However, the trainer can ask the TP for a copy. Most TPs now, they do on Google Forms. So you can ask the TP, can you add me in? I would like to be able to see the results. Pun satu. Yeah, or get them to send you the output lah, the Excel spreadsheet. So usually is the TP yang buat, not the trainer.
I thought there is a standard form from HRD Corp.
There is a standard form from HRD Corp. They gave it in Google Forms, and then all TPs copied it. So they should have their standard form. Now, standard does not mean you cannot redesign your banner ke apa things like that. There are bare minimum. You must have these particular questions. You nak tokok tambah your own questions is up to you. But there must be these bare minimum questions. Because why? Nanti you kena upload to the HRDC punya website for the TEE. And then kalau lain soalan, dia tak matching lah dia punya upload fields nanti.
Okay, another question is, since it belongs to TP kan, the assessment report tu, macam mana kita nak update pula dekat kita punya e-trace tu, saying that we have done this kind of course at what hours and so forth?
Because when we upload book, it's not e-trace, it's our TDF, it's not TDF pula.
Oh, sorry.
Our trainer portal.
Trainer portal,
It doesn't
sorry.
require documentation. It requires that you put in berapa jam. You yang kena type masuk. But what you need to upload is the feedback form, okay, from the TP. So in terms of document apa nak upload, you must upload the results lah. But in terms of nak masukkan tu, you kena manually masukkan berapa hours. The system doesn't calculate for you. Is that the question you're asking?
Yes. Thank you.
Question again.
Yes.
Just want to get your opinion. So, which one is preferable if the client or maybe the TP offer me 2K per day for trainer fees, which they'll cover the lodging and mileage, versus 3K for day, including all. So, which one is preferable?
Say that again. 2K per day
For just trainer fees,
for trainer fees, and then they cover
the lodging, mileage, and
Okay.
so on.
Okay.
versus 3K per day, but all in, which means I have to
Find your own
lah,
hotel.
buy my mileage, flight or what lah. Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Or flight. Huh. Well, do the calculation lah. Which one gets you the higher margin, then you choose that one lah. All right, let's proceed, shall we? So the topic today, this morning, is about credibility, right? So in terms of credibility, we want to be able to have the accreditation, yes, have the certification, and also plan your learning, please. Plan your upskilling. So again, the case study for this breakaway is Nazrin. So let me share with you my learning path, how I got here, what I went through to be able to build my credibility. First off, of course, my basic degree is in communication in IIUM. And then I have a background as a Silat Melayu and Senamantu instructor. I'm also an information mapping instructor. This is knowledge management. Yeah. So I used to do work for oil and gas companies. Cik Zul, you might know process mapping, SOP writing, manual job aids. So that was my work for your subsidiaries lah. I went in and I helped rewrite documents. I helped remap processes. But I'm very soft-hearted. Whenever I remap a process, I know somebody's going to lose their job. So eventually, so I need to move on lah. So after that, when I joined Accenture, I was certified as a social style instructor. They sent us to Chicago for 2 weeks to be brainwashed in this. And then when we came back, I practiced. My colleague did not practice, so I became the default regional expert in social styles. And that's what gave me a gigantic ego in Accenture. And I was also certified in Accenture as a leadership conversations instructor, which is what we were talking about, the leadership alignment tool of beliefs, intentions, promises, and actions. And I enjoyed this so much because it mapped perfectly to what I learned in Silat, tahu, mahu, kata, and laku. Then I rediscovered my old Silat teacher, Muhammad Rizal Hassan. I discovered that, he is running a program called Professional Learning Facilitator. I was suffering in Accenture because I couldn't operate as a trainer. When I tried to operate as a trainer, they said this is not enough. You need to be able to facilitate. You need to be able to hypnotize. You need to be able to. I'm like, I don't understand this, man. So I tried doing my own reading, gone on the internet, tapi I couldn't. I couldn't upskill fast. Then when I discovered that Rizal had also transitioned from a Silat teacher to a trainer, like a corporate trainer, I talked to him and he explained the PLF to me, and I go, okay, this is what I want. So I signed up 6 months in advance to make sure that I could take the days off from work. 14, 15, 16 November 2011, this one program changed my life. It changed my career. It changed everything. So I dare say you would not be in Breakaway if not for this program, if not for what I've taken here. And then just for fun, I took my master's in martial arts from a university called Open International University of Complementary Medicine. So I don't put that on my profile because it doesn't seem relevant. Only then, I did my CIT. And like I'm saying to you guys, I got a little bit disappointed because what the PLF taught me, right, was far more advanced than what I did in CIT. And I fully understand, right? The CIT is for people who have never done training a day in their life. So it's useful. But I sort of went backwards. However, what the PLF did not have, the CIT had in terms of structure, right? So it was very step by step. And my teacher was Haji Tim, Timothy Law. So I really enjoyed. And Haji Tim was also PLF. So we enjoyed that very much. Then Accenture certified me. If you remember the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Dr. Stephen Covey. So his company, Franklin Covey, has a program called Five Choices, which is about how do you manage your productivity as a professional? How do you manage your sleep? How do you manage your eating? How do you manage your exercise? How do you manage your how to detoxify, digital detox, things like that. And that's what I practice on a daily basis to make sure that I don't burn out as a trainer. Because if I would do work every day. Sadly, after I left Accenture, this license got retracted because it was only attached to employees. So once I left Accenture, I had to give everything back. I couldn't practice it. Because I wanted to learn how to coach. I didn't have a coaching certificate, so I went for one of my other mentors, Jamil Wahab, one coaching practitioner. I really would recommend next to PLF, if you want to learn coaching, then Jamil has the program for you. Melati says suara hilang. Can everybody hear me? Give me a yes in the chat. Okay. So maybe it was my internet connection or yours. Okay, let's proceed. Then I started to switch. In 2017, I discovered that a lot of companies, clients were asking for more internal stuff, right? So I was doing a lot of communication and leadership training. Then they asked for more internal stuff like how to think, creative thinking, critical thinking, innovation, design thinking, and stuff like that. And I go, I have this stuff, but I don't have it in a system. So I decided to take some certifications. And this is something called DC psychology, directive communication psychology. I got certified as a colored brain trainer, an emotional drive trainer, a directive question trainer, and a postures trainer. So that is the whole set. I decided just balloon lah. I got hit with a huge cash flow issue that year, but it is getting a lot of good returns, alhamdulillah. I'm doing a lot of this work now with KKM. So KKM is my main client when I do colored brain. Then I decided to hang on. No. I did not decide to. This was, and guys, I pray you get this, kan? This was a training provider who said, Nazrin, we would like to sponsor you for certification. And they sponsored me for DISC certified practitioner certification just so they could use me on their projects. And I didn't teach DISC, even though I could. I didn't teach DISC, but we used it on a human job analysis project. So we went into the client, we mapped all of the positions to different DISC characteristics so that they would have a starting point to say, okay, if our resort manager, okay, what DISC do they need? Okay, so we need someone who's very friendly to guests, so the I must be there. But we need someone who, make sure everything, all logistics are on hand. So we need a C there. So if you look at that resort manager punya profile, not the person, mind you, but the role. Okay, so the I and the C akan tinggi. Now they match to the candidates. Okay, the candidates yang ada ni, ada I ada C tak? Kalau tak ada, can we send them for training so that they can at least be able to replicate or simulate that tak? So that was like a 5-month project, and they sponsored me. I think if you look at the price of certification and the value of the project, nothing much lah. So I pray you get training providers who are willing to sponsor you for belajar. Then in 2023, 2022, 2021, I can't remember anymore. I decided to go for my NLP practitioner. Technically, I learned NLP from Rizal in 2011 from a very osmosis sort of way. But I decided I want to learn from his teacher. So his teacher is Andres Don, the guy who introduced NLP in Malaysia, or at least he's the first one to do it in Malaysia. And I could have gone anywhere else. From 2011 to 2022, 11 years now, I could have gone anywhere else. I resisted reading books on NLP. I resisted watching videos. I resisted to learn anything about NLP until I got to him. That's how stubborn Nazrin is, kan? So in 2022, 11 years after Rizal taught me NLP, I took my practitioner, and inshallah, please make dua for me. In April, today is March, kan? In April, I'll be going for my master practitioner. So master practitioner NLP, timeline therapy, lab profiling, master practitioner hypnotherapy, pukul rata habis semua. And this one, my God, this one has already ROI. So colored brain sudah ROI, master NLP has ROI many times over, which is why I want to go for the master so that I can ROI that as well. DISC tak ada ROI lagi. Tak ada because zero kan. There's no ROI. Social style berkali-kali ROI for many years. 5 choices, 0 ROI. One coaching practitioner, a little bit of ROI. Leadership conversations I built in, so yes, ROI. Tapi DISC belum lah, tak ada apa lah. Then I started looking at myself and my history with senaman tua, history with exercise and what we call fine exercise, okay? Because kita bukan bersenam badan saja, kita bersenam minda dan roh sekali. I got interested in looking at something called body talk access, and I'm currently studying that to be able to, manage my anxiety, manage my stress, to be able to manage myself, lah, basically, so that I become more self-disciplined. And currently, I did something with Mala. If you know Mala, Mala is Mala Sevaraja. She runs a program called Flow Profiler, which allows us to assess someone through a tool, of course, assess someone to know whether they are burning out or whether they are boring out. And there's a whole model behind it. Okay. There's a question from Marcus. OCP, is this training available locally? Yes. But I don't know if he runs it anymore. So let me ask him, nanti, yeah? All right. Next. So this is me. This whole slide was just me bragging to you. So what's the point of this slide? I want you to plan your credentials. Every single year, set aside some money. I don't care. You're going to argue with me. Set aside some money. Go and get certified in something relevant and something irrelevant to your domain. Why? Because something relevant will give you deep expertise. Now my camera is not on, but I want you to imagine a T, yeah? There's the top of the T, there's the tree of the T, right? T knowledge means you have deep expertise in something, but you are also aware of other things. I cannot tell you how important it is. It will inform your training programs. It will make it brighter, more powerful. You have more stories to tell. If you take a deep certification in one area, and then you take certificate, pergilah flower arranging. Go for origami certification. I don't care. But do something that gives you flavor and uniqueness. I know one trainer who does magic tricks in his class, and I go, damn it lah. He can keep engagement because he does magic tricks in class. So if you want to brand yourself doing something unique. Number 2, if you okay, alamak, cannot go for free or paid credentialing via assessment. Okay, must be via assessment, bukan kadang dapat sijil kehadiran saja. So there's always free stuff out there. Just go. Join professional learning communities with the same credentials. There are WhatsApp groups or Facebook groups. But if you notice that the WhatsApp group becomes a lubuk poster, kan? It's all, oh, here's my course, and here's who want to join. But no discussions, whatever, no benefit, then please leave. Okay? Every time you get a new credential, announce it on social media, right? Some people are shy. No, we're not bragging. We're telling this is the new value I can bring to clients. Okay. Also contact your TPs and say, hi, this is something new that I have. Maybe we could, I can show you a free preview, just a small thing so that you get a taste of what I can do now. So let me explain this. You're very interesting. I got certified in my NLP basic practitioner, I think basic practitioner in 2022. In 2023, I got job already. You know why? Because I told people. And my TP is like, oh, you can do NLP. No, I didn't know. Oh, now you can do. Okay, I look for jobs for you. And in 2023, I started running and I've not stopped. So my biggest client for NLP right now is KKM also. This one is important, guys. Now that you got your credentials, now you got paper to back you up, you can now start writing articles about that lah. But please make sure that it's aligned to your credential lah. Jangan your credential say something, you say something else. So you can put there, okay, at the bottom of the article, okay, Nazrin is a certified NLP practitioner who loves cats, Lego, and kids. Contoh macam tu. So you have your own identity statement for that particular certification. All right. This is another slide. I'm going to go quickly this one, right? So I'll just share with you. That was my knowledge journey. This is my professional journey. Now that takes us to this year. So what I've done is after I left Accenture, I was a bit lost. I left an Accenture in 2015. So you see there, I was learning coach, I was presenter and learning coach, and that ends at 2015. Yeah? I thought because I was fantastic inside of Accenture, I would be fantastic outside. And you know the story. Turns out nobody knows me. So 2016, I decided to create a 10-year plan. And that 10-year plan was a blueprint that I divided up into 2-year milestones. So I decided 2017 would be the last one, right? I will start in 2018. So 2018, I will start creating new workshops that have not existed, new perspectives, new unique ways of looking at things, new models based on older models, but new models, easier to understand models. And then by 2020 to 2021, I would license those out to other people to teach. By 2020, it was on track. I have a program called Leap, Clear, Design, Hats, and Prep. I have 8 programs that are bestsellers with clients, right? So what I did was, actually, I started teaching these programs in 2015. But when I decided to be creator, that means what do I create? I create a certification program that I can certify other trainers to teach my courses. And I think there are a few people here. Rajuna is here, Dr. K is here, Abby is here. Who else is here? Ilyas not. Ming is here. Dr. Ming is here. Kelvin is here. Who else? Ada quite a few. So they have come to my training programs, my certification programs. I've certified them to teach my program, and they can run the program however for the clients, whoever they want, which means that they can do what I can do. Only difference is sometimes they do it a bit differently or their own unique way lah. So I started that facilitator certification. I don't call it a TTT because TTT is teaching you how to be a trainer. This is a TOT, training of trainers. So you are already a trainer. I'm giving you a subject matter to teach. I'm teaching you how to teach the course. So in 2019, I launched the first one in December of 2019, Leap for Leadership. And then I think it was in February of 2020 when we did for Speed. And if you remember what happened in 2020, tada, COVID kan. So I had to pivot very fast. I still want to be licensor in 2020, 2021. What can I do? So for those of you who remember, we created and ran the virtual LearnCaster certification, which helped trainers learn how to teach online. And then, because there was such a big request for it, and I couldn't handle all those requests, I accredited 13, 17. I can't remember, Kelvin, how many do we have? I think 17. 17 of the best graduates from the first cohort for them to run the VLC certification. And in that sense, I became the licensor for that. So after that, when pandemic settled down, I continued with my other facilitator certifications so that people could adopt and learn and teach, and they could adjust. They could change it however they want. I give them full permission to do so. However, my ultimate goal by 2027 is to leave the classroom. Yeah, I don't want to stay in the classroom forever. I want to move into consulting. So from 2022, I started doing more developmental programs, more culture change programs for clients. I started doing more focus groups, more projects. And sadly, most of my projects are in Cambodia, but now I'm doing more in Malaysia as well. So why this? Guys, I need you to have a dream. I need you to have a clear intention of where you want to go, okay? And look at it every single day. So I want you to plan and budget your career path, make it intentional. Okay, why all of this? Because I want you to break away. Make it intentional. Number 2, lay foundations so that you can do the next phase. Tell people your hopes and dreams. Tell people your hopes and dreams. Don't expect them to know. When you tell them, guess what? They will want to help. The ones who don't want to help, you can easily identify as haters, unfriend, block, delete, do whatever you want. Okay? Surround yourself with people better than you. So find people who are far ahead of you, model them, chase them. Model them, chase them, and then as they run fast, you also run fast. But if you model someone who's slower than you, eventually, you become slow like them. Now, when I say chase them where they go, what they do, what certification they take, you follow. So the first person I chased was Rizal. And Rizal took NLP, he took body language, he took hypnosis. He took clowning though, how to be a clown, which helped a lot. So I couldn't take NLP yet, but I wanted to. I couldn't take clowning, so I did theater. Um, he also did work in Bangladesh, Vietnam, okay, Bangladesh and Vietnam, and a few other countries as well, regularly. So I couldn't do that. So what did I do? I set intention. I want to be like him. I got Brunei. I got Cambodia. Okay lah. One Indo-China country and one country that starts with B. I'm happy. So at least matching dengan Rizal, right? Please, guys, if you live life on a day-to-day basis, waiting for what's going to happen tomorrow, am I going to get a job tomorrow? You will not be able to stand up from other people. Okay? So please keep learning. And there's a lot of free places to learn, mind you. Training Magazine Network has a lot of webinars that are free, hundreds of webinars that you can learn from for free. If you want to pay for money, okay, these are a bit subject matter relevant. So for me, I study from the Interaction Design Foundation and the Institute for Experiential Learning because these are within my budget. ATD, I just read articles lah. ATD is a bit expensive. E-learning industry, business balls, paling murah. Anybody young enough to remember business balls from long time ago, they are still active, they are still doing good work. So read articles, watch webinars there. Of course, then you have your Coursera, Udemy, you got your Allison, you got LinkedIn Learning lah. For those who like to learn from their phone in audiobooks, I used to use Headway. I don't use Headway anymore. Now ChatGPT is my friend. I don't need to subscribe to this. Okay. Step 24. It is not enough to be a trainer. You must be a business person. You must be an entrepreneur. Please learn how to market, how to promote yourself. And Alhamdulillah, this year we had a lot of friends who ran programs, paid or free, paid or free programs. I would recommend that you go to them. One of them is our own classmate here, Khairul and Dina. And then my teacher, Dr. Stephen Kaur, on the second one. My other teacher, Juara, my friend Ijol down there, and then you got trained again by Kak Yan. Kak Yan is the one training program I've been wanting to go to. I've not been able to go for, and she's very successful in that. Her branding, if you want to copy any branding, can you copy her branding? He's like, how to ignore that kind of branding? So she does really good work with clients, and now she also does really good work in the public as well. Step 25, guys, if you have resigned from your company, I'm going to tell you this, you are already out of touch with industry. You don't want to stay out of touch. So, subscribe to magazines, subscribe to McKinsey Insights, Accenture Insights, buy the Age once in a while just to know what's happening lah. If you want to network, here's my recommendation. Kan? I've asked myself, is this ethical or not? I think it is. I think it is. You go to Eventbrite, okay, eventbrite.com. It's a website that has a lot of events. You filter for KL, Selangor, or within your area. Look for free events where you can network. Tak ada kaitan tau. Apa ni? Ini was what? A convention on piping. A convention on electrical wiring. You just go. You just go. At the minimum, you get free food lah kan. Just go, bring your name card, chat people up, listen to conversations. Just be there. Just be visible. I used to do this at the beginning of my career. That I stopped because I no longer needed it. But jangan duduk rumah saja. Go out. I remember when I was jobless for a while, my mother and when I was jobless for a while, I was depressed. I was sleeping every day. My mother would say, "Go out, go find job, go find work." I'm like, okay, because my mother was herself a marketer. She says, if you don't do the legwork, nothing's gonna come in. So do the legwork. And as my friend who sells insurance says, he says it's a numbers game. You need to reach your 100 rejection before you start making money. Okay. So get comfortable getting rejected. And yes, learn properly from people how to network lah. Don't learn from Nazrin. Okay, so we are taking a bit of extra time. If you're okay with it, that means that the next class will start a little bit later. But if you can't make it, then you can watch the recording later. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to introduce you to something I call the learning impact model, which I've cobbled together from a few models. As trainers, as L&D people, we must understand this. Okay, we must understand this. Now, this model originally was created by Dr. Donald Kirkpatrick, and he calls it, well, he does, people call it actually the Kirkpatrick model, Kirkpatrick evaluation model. I am bronze and almost silver certified. That's my certification in the Kirkpatrick evaluation model. But in Accenture, we also use something slightly different. I've modified it for ease of explanation to client. So Donald Kirkpatrick says that the effectiveness of training can be measured at different levels. L1 or level 1, he calls a reaction, which measures how much was experienced. Was the trainer handsome? Was the air conditioning okay? How was the food? Did you enjoy yourself? Did you learn? What did you learn? Okay. So L1 is what we call a happy sheet. They give you a feedback form, which, technically that's what that's what HID Corp gives now lah. Yeah, okay. Did you enjoy yourself? So reaction, were you satisfied? Reaction measures three things, yeah. Customer satisfaction, as Don Kirkpatrick calls it, relevance, and what's happening to me right now? Somebody help me for those who have studied this. Customer satisfaction, relevance, and engagement. Okay, three things. It measures three things. So the questions on the form must measure these three things. Then we have level 2, which he calls learning, but I call retention. And the reason why I change is because I believe learning happens at all levels, not just at level 2. And this one measures how much was remembered. Can you recite the model without misspelling, or can you explain back to me everything that you understand? And if it's the same, then we call this L2. Right? You retain the knowledge that you have learned. Then we have level 3, which is how much was applied back at work. Did it change your routine? Did it change the process of how you do things? Don Kirkpatrick calls this behavior change. But when I work with clients always tell me we want them to work differently. Okay, so work differently, we call this routine. Now, if by working differently, you make more sales, you become more productive, you can get more things done within the same amount of time, we call this results. How much has changed? And it must be measurable in the sense of time or effort or something significant. Like you can see the difference. Now, in the Kirkpatrick model, level 5 is called ROE, return on expectation. But by the Jack Phillips model, Institute of ROI, he calls it the return on investment. And he believes that everything can be calculated in such a way that it becomes a dollar figure. So either ROE or ROI at level 5. All right.
Question.
Yes.
So if it's just a half day or maybe 1 day program, so normally we still have to achieve at least L2 or L3, or how is it?
Depends on your agreement with the client. What does the client expect? If the client expects ROI, you say, give me 1 year, please. Monday, half day, 1 day. And plus, measuring, the higher up you go, the more difficult it is to measure. So half day, cannot. Minimum, I can guarantee you reaction, L1.
Yeah, so we are the one who has to tell them lah. So normally they insist to have half day only lah. We are busy
Half
lah.
day, okay. Kalau half day, then you get reaction lah. That's it. Tell them.
So at least 2 or 3 days will do lah.
To do what?
I mean, 2 or 3 days should be better lah as compared to half day.
Depends what is the output. So for example, when I run programs, remember we talked about learning journeys in the last class? So learning journeys usually aim to get up to L3 or L4. Yeah, up to L3 or L4. This is far beyond train the trainer anymore, because now you're becoming more like a consultant. So as Kelvin says, 2 days training at the most you can get is L2, if at all. But most of the time, when you finish after 2 days, good. The day after, you lose 80% of what you remember. So how is that L2? Okay, some clients, they say, oh, give a pre and post test. Okay, I pre-test you, I post-test you. Of course, you remember everything. How about we give the post-test 1 week later, 1 month later, 3 months later, 6 months later? Is it still L2? So if you want to do work at L2 or L3, it's a lot more expensive for the client. You have to sit down and discuss a project. Let's call it a project or a program. Half day is not enough.
Hi. Yeah,
Hi.
Nazreen. I'm just thinking about the 2 days or 3 days. Yeah, it cannot stretch beyond level 3. So unless we do a post-training follow-up, whether it's coaching or whether it's another half day, then the level 3 and level 4 will be more convincing and more sustainable, right?
That is correct. So we have to mix interventions. Training in the if you're aware of the 70-20-10 model, right? 70,
Yes.
20, 10. So classroom will always be 10%. The 20% is the coaching, is the mentoring, is the reinforcement. 70% is the project that they must work on to change. There's something relevant, not academic, something relevant that they have to do within the department or in the organization to change the way they work and what they get. So agree with the client. What level do you want? You want them to just change how they do things? Okay, I can get them there. Give me so level 3 usually is about 3 months if you're going by that. What half day, 1 day or 2 day workshop, followed by coaching every 1 or every 2 weeks, individual or group, depending on what the requirement is. So for example, in Cambodia, I ran a program called SPICE, systematically persuading, influencing, and convincing everyone. And the agreement with Prudential was we want to get them to level 3. So 2 day workshop and then 3 months coaching. By the end of it, they have demonstrated, their line managers have observed that they are able to demonstrate this, they are able to do this. Yes, were there some result change? Okay, but that was not measured.
Got it.
L4 takes about 5 to 8 months in my experience because you actually have to measure across the board and you have to make sure that they don't go for any other training. They don't get their bonuses during that time. It will skew the results.
Yes, but can you just recap just now you talk about ROE versus ROI?
Okay, so you send your people for a soft skill training, team building. How are you going to measure ROI?
Team building is to
You can't.
increase the team collaboration.
Anything. So what's the measurement? Increase in what? Less conflict. How many conflicts did they have before? 6.5. After?
Mm.
Oh, six. Okay, reduction by 0.5. Kirkpatrick model, or the Kirkpatrick partners, they disagree that you can dollarify everything. So rather than ROI, they choose ROE. They say, does the client see results and does it meet their expectations? And the client says, yes, we see expectations. Sign off. Ngam. ROE lah tu.
Okay, got it.
It's the
Thanks.
clients that sign off. It's the line managers that sign off. So line manager says, my people, I don't know what, but after they came back from team building, what, they're more productive. Like, I can see that. Okay, please sign this document to say that you are happy with the results. That's that sign. Habis. ROE. It
Cool.
doesn't always have to be a dollar figure.
Thank you.
Okay, there was another question. Somebody.
Zul, ya. Okay, when I look at this model, kantor ni mengaku tadi kata faham. Okay, when I look at this model, it sounds more like a consultation more than the training, is that right?
More like a what?
applicable to the consultation.
Training is consultation because
Okay.
you have to do your TNA
Because
as well. So training is the solutioning part of the consultation.
yeah, correct. Okay, now the ROI tadi kan. Okay, since you already talk about ROE, so in my case, I used to perform audits and assessment and consultation more.
Yes.
So kalau lah benda ni berlaku kan, ROI can be, let's say, if I do safety and health, zero accident tu kira consider as ROI lah kan?
No, zero accidental results.
Results,
If you can measure that before we had 6 accidents that
Correct.
cost us 100,000, after we had 0 accidents, so we saved 100,000.
Okay, all right. So the dollify part is that way lah, one of the way lah,
Yes. Okay, macam ni. Anything that is measurable can be dollified. Time, effort, okay,
Yeah,
can be dollified.
correct.
Anything that cannot be, macam being kind to each other, beradab dengan boss, how you gonna dollify?
Yeah, correct. Okay.
Yeah. All right, good question.
Yeah, Nasrin, I do have a question.
Yes, please.
in most cases, our training is only about 2 days. So I guess we can only reach out to L2 unless we have unless we have a project or consultant project where it is a one year project. We can actually reach up to L5. That's my opinion.
Correct.
I don't know whether I'm correct.
Correct. Now, I
Yeah.
need you guys to remember something. Training is only one type of solution. Coaching is another type of solution. System change, put in new software is another type of solution. It's just that if we as trainer, we only see training. So you know what they say, if you only have a hammer, everything is a nail. Yeah. Sometimes clients they think the problem can be solved with training. But when you do your TNA, you realize, ini tak boleh ni. This is a systemic issue. You're not paying them enough. You're giving them too heavy workload. Of course, they become demotivated. So there's a meme I can share with you later, kan, where the client says, "Oh, our people are very stressed out. They're very demotivated. They're not very productive." And then the consultant says, "Okay, pay them more, reduce their workloads, get more workforce." And then the client says, "Oh, no, no, we want them to go for yoga." So you will find sometimes that this happens. Once upon a time, because I needed the money, I need to feed my family. I accepted. Okay, boleh lah, just let's do lah. I know it won't solve the problem, but at least I can give my participants some new knowledge for themselves lah, that maybe they can use at another place where they work. But now I'm a bit choosy. I don't want to participate in, a wrong solution for the wrong problem. All right, shall we proceed? This is taking longer than expected. Okay, why did I show you this slide? Because I want you to prepare some assets that are ready to go. So when the client asks for it, when the TP asks for it, it's there. The first one is, of course, your L1 reaction assessment. And please prepare, as much as I don't like it, prepare for every course that you have, that you designed, you have outlined for, prepare a pre and post test. So that when the client asks for it, you can go, yep, I got it. Rather than, yeah, I have to create. Prepare and create upfront. For every course you have, create upfront. So you look prepared. And your branding is like, wow, Zaitun is very prepared. Oh, ada. Yeah. And then be prepared also if you want to, if you understand this, have an assessment. How are you going to assess for that course? So for example, if you come for clear, communicating logically, empathically, and responsively, there are 6 modules in there. The first module is called persuasive speaking. The second module is called building rapport. The third module is called context messaging. The fourth module is called facilitating conviction. So let's just say these 4 modules. When they go back to work, can I give their line manager a document that they can use to assess whether or not my employees are practicing what they learned? Okay, then the next question is, how the manager going to know? So what I do at L3 is I have a meeting with the managers. So usually kalau 30 people come from the same company, they have about 4 or 5 same managers. I'll have an online meeting or face-to-face meeting. I'll explain to them the course. I'll explain to them what they're going to be learning. And I'll explain to the managers, you don't need to learn this, but here are the questions you should ask. Here are some trigger questions that you should ask that will make them think that you know the course. Okay, so let me teach you how to do the assessment, what to look for when they come back from training. Okay, so at this point, when I can sell this to clients, a little bit more expensive, but the line manager have to do the work lah. The problem is if the line manager does not do work, dia kau team saja, dia sign saja, so the measurement also goes awry lah, so dah lari lah. But when the client says, no, we want actual measurements, then I say, okay, let me come in every 2 weeks and I will assess them. So we do coaching and assessment at the same time. And you need to have the ability to tell when people are lying to you, yeah? So when I coach them, I say, okay, tell me what has happened apa semua. They go, yeah, I tried this and I did this. And okay, tell me a story. And when they cannot tell you a story, that means probably they have not done it or they're lying to you. So there's a few tips and tricks that you need to have up your in your bag to make sure that you can track this properly. At a higher level, the ability to assess L4 which I won't be discussing today because that's quite advanced. But I do want you to get there. I do want you to step away from just being a normal trainer and eventually be able to do projects, be able to do behavior change, culture change projects. And of course, last one, an ROI assessment. In fact, in the Breakaway website on this page, there is an ROI calculator that you can impress your clients with. So just go in, it's on a Google Sheet. You just copy that, then you will have that Google Sheet. So you have your own copy. Post-program coaching. So build out a protocol for what coaching you can do. I do group online coaching. So for every course, I have materials, videos, links, PDFs, articles that I keep. And what I do is after the course, for the next 30 days, I'll do drip content. Every day I'll drop in something and then we have a discussion. So what's happening in our WhatsApp group, kan? I do that. But you have to learn community management lah. Okay, that's where the alumni study group is. And if at all possible, but I think I would like, if you are a Breakaway alumni, I want you to build a website just for the course. Every course ada satu website, ada all the curated videos, materials, things that they can self-study later on. Even if they don't self-study, the client goes, "Whoa, you have this for the same price as another trainer." I can't tell you, it is very impressive. So now you want to make website so free pun ada, mudah pun ada, AI can help you out. Also prepare templates for each one and also have a testimonial video because written testimonial is fun, but a testimonial video is a lot more fun. Okay. Delivery assets. This one I'll go through very quickly because I think most of you have these. If you can have a profiling tool, and please don't do something too simple like DISC, one piece of paper. A profiling tool that's related to your course. Time management. What is your time management profile? Okay, what kind of time manager are you? Do you manage time? How? Do you procrastinate? How? So, if at all possible, and I think for if I remember, I think Kelvin here, our Excel wizard, has a profiling tool for his participants to know, how much they know, how much they don't know about Excel. It's a game, I think. It's called Excel Nopoly. So if Kelvin wants to share that on later on, he's probably cursing me right now. Like, why you tell me this? Your PowerPoints and PowerPoint in PDF form, your workbooks in document and PDF form, your learner notes. Okay, this one tak wajib anymore lah. But what I do is now I build it into the website. So if they want the notes, it's all on the website. Learning handouts as and when, printed one by one. Learning posters, which you can put up on the wall or sometimes even on the tables. Yeah, most of these can be quick reference guides, which summarizes the whole course into one nice infographic. I usually just laminate them. Online pre-assignments before the course starts. Sometimes you don't have access to the participants, but that's okay. You can give them a pre-assignment. Okay, here's a few websites I want you to visit. Do not overload them. Give them simple stuff to do. Sometimes it's a Google form to say, tell me how much you know about Microsoft Excel. Okay, and then that's it. Tak payah. My prediction is only 20% will send back. Please have an ebook. A good trainer. Now I could only add this into the slide after I did it. So please write ebooks that people can forward, and your branding remains there. And also a printed book that you can give to clients. Now this one is not wajib, but I would like for you to go there. For every course, design an action guide. So if you cannot do coaching for them, at least you give them an action guide for them to take home. Okay, if you would like to improve your communication skills based on what you learn in Clear, here is a 100-day guide to help you change your behavior, change your routine, and become more impactful as a communicator. I am not going to be able to join you on this ride, but I wish you all the best. See you in 100 days. So it's an action guide. It's a book. Maybe you want to do spiral bound, whatever it is, right? But make it easy to open up flat. And give them this action guide so that the branding remains there. They see your name, they see your face. And also, kadang-kadang the training provider punya logo. And as long as they keep it around the office, kan, they will remember, oh, best case scenario, they actually use the guide. And of course, certificate. Standby, just in case the training provider asks. Certificate of attendance, Step 28 is please have a YouTube account. My God, if you don't have a YouTube account, please have a YouTube account because it is very important for people to be able to find you on many platforms. So you have testimonial videos, you have videos of your courses, and I'm going to say it right now. Yeah? The intention for me to give Breakaway free was many, many years already. It's just that this year, because of what happened this month with clients and training providers, I decided to speed it up and then I decided to get you involved. The original plan was for me to sit in front of a webcam and record it without an audience. But I tried a few, it tak jadi lah. I couldn't. I need to know that there's someone on this side listening as well. So you are actually helping me to create my legacy. The Breakaway website and these videos will be permanent. So if you have a friend who says, "Hey, I don't know how to start branding myself," you can now just send the website link along and they will benefit from it. And I fully understand that what happens is my branding also reaches them. And as more and more people visit the website and run through the free course, I get more and more positive branding. So that's what I want for you as well. Make yourself visible. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been almost 2 hours. We are now at assignment E. So I would like for you to do this. This is not an assignment that you have to hand up, but I do want you to do this, right? So identify any credentials or skill gaps that keep the market from recognizing you. Look at the market. What does the market need right now? Does it need this particular skill set? You have fundamentals, you have intelligence, you got brain. You can pick that up very fast at that certification and immediately run, kan? So don't say that I'm not expert in this. You don't need to be expert lah. Like I've said once in a while, kan, you don't need to have a PhD to teach school children. So don't fuss that, oh, I cannot teach AI because I don't know everything about AI. Teach people who know nothing about AI with what you have. Charge them, make the money. Don't teach experts lah. Okay, so guys, just look at it positively. If you have knowledge, you can benefit someone, and someone is willing to pay you for it. Number 2 is research credentialing options, including scheduled certifications in the coming months or year. Why? You want to make sure that you can clear your calendar for it. So most certifications will tell you 1 year in advance when those dates are. And then list down at least 3 of those options and publish dates and period, and then schedule it into your calendar. And then I wish you all the best for you to be able to attend and pay for it.